Please be seated. I got all worked up this week about this sermon. You know, this gospel, the cleansing of the temple, does, appear quite regularly in our lectionary. And I can't remember if ever I focused really on the anger piece of this. And clearly it's central. Jesus, I would dare say, out of character. I'm trying to think of where else, in all of the Gospels, the synoptics, is Jesus shown to be angry, and here it is. And the reason I want to focus on it is I've never been very easy with anger, and maybe I'm too much of a New Englander and keep all those motions, whatever they are, kind of, in check. But there's something satisfying, isn't there, about getting angry? I started this morning service with a confession of watching TikTok videos on road rage. And I think it's my way of seeing, how do people get that mad? And isn't it something that you can get so blistering mad that you jump from your car and run up to another car and start banging on the window? And like, what? I don't understand that. And I had a father who had a short temper. I don't think of him, I'll never, remember him as an angry man, but I do remember one occasion he was going out and he collected my brothers and I, and, he was down on one knee where I was probably, I don't know, about 4 or 5. And I noticed that the tie he was wearing that night is just like one I had. And I said, "Hey, Dad, and he sort of slapped my hand away because he wanted to get, the message through to the 3 boys. And I was like, ooh. And that was like one moment of anger. I thought, what's that about? And there was another time, I won't go to the whole thing here, but I've had moments, very, very rare moments of anger that I regretted. And I read just in preparing this, Ben Franklin, always good with witticisms and aphorisms, and he said, all things that begin in anger end in shame. And that's been my experience. You let your temper go, and you don't let it go willingly, but usually you get so that it goes and you do something and you're regretful and you feel ashamed. So is there any good purpose for anger? Mostly what I witness is not good. And mostly, like, the road rage, it's petty. When all is said and done, someone blows their top and you think, why did you do that? Another quote, that mostly the harm we do, in letting loose our anger, usually the consequences of that is much worse than whatever circumstances caused the anger to begin with, right? So where is the place of anger? And there was go on here a little more, pulling from personal experience. I had worked with another priest just out of seminary for about 3 years, and somewhere toward the end of my time with him, we were, having coffee, and he said, "Brad, do you ever get angry about anything?" And I kind of, at one moment, I was sort of proud to say no, but another piece of me was like, ooh, why is that? Am I so on top of anger and its power that I've lost something? There's also those who believe that Edward Abbey, that how does he put it so nicely? That if you are not angry, if you're someone who is angered about nothing, chances are you care about nothing, right? So unless you can really get worked up about something, well, maybe you don't care. Maybe it's indifference. The opposite of anger is not love, it's indifference. And maybe I'm so tempered, don't want to be temperamental, got to keep the temperature down, that I'm so, bottled up with the temper thing that nothing of great significance can happen. Well, no passion, right? So this is actually, if you're looking for some model by which you can be entitled to get a little angry, this is the lesson for that. And now that I see it more clearly than ever before, that if you think about a temple or this sanctuary, why do we come here? For a variety of reasons, perhaps, but I would say primary is drawing near to your source. Call it what you will, but we need to step away and find a place where we can kind of let the world be forgotten for even a moment and come here in a kind of open, that Oran's position that I do for the Eucharistic prayer, it's meant to be open, right? And the evangelicals have that kind of open thing. We come here to be vulnerable. And why are we vulnerable? To let down our guard in order to get closer, more intimate with this source of health, of life, of light. And so wouldn't it be odd and wouldn't it be upsetting if someone came plowing through the door here and said, hey, wait, I don't care what you guys are doing here. We got some transactional things to happen here. We got to sell some doves. There's a whole, commentary on exactly what's happening in that temple. But let me just reduce it to all of that was getting in the way. All of that was getting in the way of what Jesus saw as here are worshipers who are entitled by birth to worship, to turn their hearts, minds, and souls to God in this lovely sanctuary and begin to feel that presence, renew it, deepen it. And in the middle of that comes all of this chaos, and Jesus is upset. It's Mama Bear, and something's come between the cubs and Mama Bear. And Mama Bear is pissed. And so, whoosh, clear the way, clear out this stuff. Nothing gets in the way of my people and God. So that makes me say, yeah, I could lean into that. Righteous judgment, righteous anger, right? It's rare. It's not out there on the roads with righteous rage, road rage. That's not it. You end up foolish and hurtful and probably should be arrested. But this is different. And let me expand on it. And this is another little thing I keep tucked away, that all of the stories you will ever hear in your life, let alone in the Bible, fall within three categories: returning home from exile, escape from captivity, and mending a broken relationship. I challenge you after this, go home, think of your favorite movie, think of anything that is a story, and this is what's being worked out. And it's universal and timeless because it speaks to the desire and need that the soul has within us to taste of that relationship. And anything that comes between me and that is worthy of my anger. Get out of the way. Romans, right? What will separate us from the love of God? Nothing. Don't let anything separate you. So, returning home from exile, what has in your life caused you to be away from your source? Whatever it is, get home and let nothing get in your way. If you're held captive and you're not free to be who you are, three-dimensional, then address whatever it is that is keeping you oppressed. And if you feel estranged from the people around you, from your wife, from your children, from your community, whatever has caused that break, that relationship gone, garner your anger, garner your conviction, garner your zeal, and address that and get it out of the way. The serenity prayer, God, give me the grace, right, to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can change, and the wisdom to know the difference. That is the way of the cross. And it looks foolish to a lot of people. So think of Jesus. He gets slapped. It looks foolish for Jesus to remain. The way of the cross is this commitment that I need, and I will forever be loyal and faithful to a relationship that we all deserve and that feeds me. And if I'm driving in my car and someone doesn't turn on their blinker or lower their high beams, I'm not going to lose it, right? I'm going to let that go. Now, there'd be some that say, Brad, you're foolish. Those guys deserve your... No, that's not important. What's important, if I run off on that one, I'm off this path. I stay on this path, and all of those little things give me grace, God, to let go of the petty stuff. Now I'm saying some people would say, Brad, you're foolish. That person just slapped you in the face. You go track them down and slap them back. But no, Jesus says, you slap me here, go ahead, hit me here as well, because I'm not going to have any of that. I'm going to stay right here in this relationship. So that's the grace part of accepting. Let's let it go. Give me the grace to just let that petty stuff go. I'm not going to get angry about that. It's not worth getting angry about, because I'm going to stay right here. So now give me the courage to change the things that I can change. This is Jesus in the temple. I can do something about this. And I'm going to show the courage to do it. He was foolish in the eyes of his disciples or anyone else. You know what kind of trouble you're getting into right now? To do this right now in the temple? Are you crazy? You're foolish. No, I'm not foolish. This is the way of the cross. If I'm going to stay in this relationship and help others to do likewise, we got to clear the decks out of here. Just clear the stuff out of here. And he was right to be angry. And doesn't it feel good to shout, and it kind of, hey, and be full. And we don't do that enough because we're afraid that, gosh, someone's going to get offended. Someone's going to get hurt. And that's mostly true. It is wise to stay on top of your anger, and wiser still to know the difference between the things we can't change and the things we can. And when we're in that place, we know how the wisdom of being able to stay on this path. What we don't want to do, may I say, is become indifferent. And how does that happen, right? And maybe if I feel captive, maybe I'm captive because of complacency. Maybe I don't have anger about the systemic structures all around me that keep some of us from living a full life. Why am I complacent about that? Isn't that just more of temple cleansing that needs to happen? Don't I need to wake up and focus on the kinds of things that are keeping not just me, but those, my friends, my siblings, people who may not be of my color, but nevertheless are children of God? Why don't I get angry and say, this is not fair. These people should not be separated from the source of health and wholeness, of having homes, equal opportunity, all of that. That's where anger can fuel good things to happen. So you can begin with saying, it's a little cathartic to watch those road rage videos. Gosh, it's so fun to watch those guys get upset and then just go crazy with their... and I wish there were more of these, and I don't think you'll find these videos, but these are the ones I would encourage you to watch if by chance watching them would make you and make me less comfortable, less complacent. And the video would be something like some unwitting visitor to Yellowstone Park wanting to bring home, to show to their family that perfect picture of those little cute cubbies, those little bear cubs, and then, so they're going to go right up and find that little bear cub and have no idea that they're about to come between mom and her cubbies. Those kind would say, all right, I get it. Let's not be so complacent that right. I can't end this, so I'm going to end it here.